Good morning. Has anyone ever said to you, "Hey, who do you think you are?" Well, I remember being told those exact words in my younger years, and let me be clear, it was not a real question. It was a scolding and a put down to keep me in my place, a reminder that I was getting too big. You know, getting too big for my little britches. Now, maybe you didn't hear those exact words, but I bet you've heard words at some point in your life that made you feel small, like act your age, don't brag, not everything's about you. And my mom's favorite, bless her heart, get that chip off your shoulder. Hi, I'm Dr. Connie Numbers, and in today's video, I'm going to share 5 powerful truths that answer that question, who do you think you are? These truths will reveal who you really are, because at the deepest level, you are a soul. And knowing that can transform how you see yourself and your life. But here's the thing. When I tell you these little truths, it just might go against everything you were taught to believe about yourself. So you might flinch. You might feel a little uncomfortable because it sounds so unfamiliar. You might even think it sounds unbelievable. Or you might feel a sense of deep recognition because some part of you already knows that what I'm saying is true. So hold on to your seatbelts, because here is the absolute soulful truth of who you really are. Number 1, you are magnificent. And let me tell you why. You are magnificent because out of billions of possibilities, there has never been and never will be another you. No two souls are alike. Each of us is extraordinary and unique. And here's the most beautiful part. Out of billions of people, your soul picked you as the perfect companion for its journey in this lifetime. It took a look at all the choices it had and said, I want that one. Wow. Now, how magnificent is that? But here's where we get tripped up. When we think of someone as magnificent, we usually picture flawless, glamorous, and successful people. And we're taught to believe that the ones who accomplish the most or who get the most recognition are the ones who are really valuable. So when I say to you, you are magnificent, it's easy to think, who, me? I don't know about that. Not me, really. I'm too ordinary, I'm too flawed, I'm too not enough to ever be called magnificent. But nothing could be further from the truth, because your worth has already been established once and for all, simply because you were created and you exist. So I want you to think about the times in your life when you've seen the difference your presence has made to someone else. Maybe it was the way your kindness lifted someone's day. Maybe it was a skill, a talent, or even just the way you showed up and listened. No one else could have done it quite like you. Those moments may feel small to you, but this is how your magnificence shows up. This is why I say at the end of every video I make, and will continue to say, there really is no one worth knowing more than you. Because there isn't. There is no one like you. So let me ask you, when was there a time your presence made a difference that only you could make, when someone needed you at the exact moment and you were there? I'm sure if you think about it, you could find many instances where you showing up as you was more than enough. And once you can begin to see the value in your own uniqueness, then you're ready to hear the next truth about who you really are, which is, you are love. And not just any kind of love. You are unconditional love. There is a part of you that loves yourself and others without judgment. And it's this kind of love that is the core of your being. It's the deepest truth of who you are. It's your true essence. So think of times when you reach out and give love in any way, Whether you hug someone, hold their hand, or use loving words of support and encouragement to someone who needs it. Think of a love you still feel for someone even after they've hurt you, or a love that rises in you when you see a stranger in pain. And I want to make this very clear. That love is not coming from your human self. That is your soul expressing its love through you. You are the conduit, the channel of that love, not the creator of it. Now, multiply this kind of love times a gazillion, and this is how much you are loved by your soul and also how much love you are capable of. So think about those times in your life when you felt love for yourself or someone else, even after their mistakes or disappointments. This is your soul expressing unconditional love. And just as love is always present beneath the surface, so is joy, which brings us to the third truth. You are pure joy. Joy is something that is already built into your spiritual DNA, so you don't have to wait for something to happen in order for you to be joyous. Beneath all the worries and the responsibilities of everyday life, there is a wellspring of joy within you that never runs dry. And this is because joy doesn't depend on what's happening in your life. You can lose a job, even lose a part of your health or a relationship. But joy can still show up even when none of that has improved. Maybe all of a sudden you hear a baby's laugh, or a wagging tail greets you at the door, so happy to see you, or a piece of music stirs your soul, or you step outside and see a sunset. Well, here comes joy out of the blue. This is how we know joy belongs to the soul, because it can rise up within you even when nothing on the outside has changed, showing you it was always there waiting. So I'd like to know this. When was there a time in your life when you were surprised by joy showing up in the middle of an ordinary or even a difficult day? Now, what I'm about to tell you next is something that most of us don't even think of as our true nature at all. And that is, are you ready? You are fearless. There is not 1 ounce of fear in the soul of you. Why? Because you're an eternal being. And do you know what that really means? It means you can never be destroyed. Now, when you really take that in, when you really think about it, that no harm can ever permanently come to you, and that you will continue to exist long after the body is gone, you will realize that you have a safety net already built into you from the very beginning. And when you truly know this in your heart of hearts, there is nothing to fear about anything. You will outlive every challenge, every ending, and every loss. And when everything else falls away, you go on. Now, we know our human self will still worry about plenty of stuff. But all of that is temporary. And I bet that if you were to look back at your life, I'm sure you would see plenty of situations when you stepped forward, even though you were scared. Whether it was like starting a new job, or speaking up when it mattered, or saying yes to love again after being heartbroken. I'm sure you would see that your courage was already there waiting for you right when you needed it. So I would love to know when there was a time in your life when you were afraid, but you did it anyway, because that's your fearlessness. And now we come to our last truth. This one took me a while to learn, and that is, you are peace. Do you know that at the deepest level of your being, You are not bothered by anything. Nothing. The soul of you accepts whatever shows up in life. It has no desire to argue with the way life is unfolding. It simply accepts whatever is. Unlike our human self, our soul's peace doesn't come and go depending on what's happening outside of us. Now, I know that's hard to believe, especially in today's world, but here's the thing. Your soul knows with absolute certainty that everything unfolds for a reason. Everything happens in its right and perfect time, and everything is ultimately going to be all right. And here's how you can know this peace is real. Think about those moments when your life felt heavy, but you suddenly had a quiet sense that you'd get through it. Or think of a time maybe you've sat in nature, maybe by the ocean or under a night sky, and for just a moment, all the noise faded away, and you felt a stillness and a peace within. For me, sometimes after I've had a really good cry, which is a lot, by the way, because I love to cry, there is a calmness that comes over me, almost like it appeared from nowhere, but there it was. That is my soul's peace breaking through. So when was there a time you finally let go of something? Maybe even something you couldn't control. And what followed was an unexpected calm. Now that was your soul's peace. So what I'm sharing with you today may sound spiritual, but it's actually the most practical way to live a better life. Because when you realize your worth isn't tied to achievements, you stop exhausting yourself trying to prove something. When you see that love is who you are, your relationships get softer and kinder. When you know joy is built into you, you stop chasing happiness and start enjoying life as it is. When you understand you can never be destroyed, fear loosens its grip and you find confidence you didn't know you had. And when you rest in the peace of your soul, anxiety calms down and you feel steady no matter what life throws at you. These truths aren't lofty ideas. They're everyday tools for living a freer, happier, and more grounded life. So, the question I want to pose to you today is, when would now be a good time to start remembering the truth of who you really are? So, if what I shared today with you resonates, I invite you to subscribe and like and comment below. I'd love to know which of these 5 truths come easily for you and which ones are a bit harder, because this is how you and I connect and have a relationship. And it's how we build this beautiful community together. And don't forget to ask whatever questions you may have. So until then, until our next video, may you begin to believe, even just a little, that maybe, just maybe, there really is no one worth knowing more than you.